140 door cards are sadly no longer available. And whilst this one is in adequate shape, it's certainly not a nice flat surface here, and that will always show up as bulges. The driver's door, as you can see, was significantly worse. So I have, after many hours, produced a CAD file and CNC for new cards. Particularly, this is a 142 early car, and I need to not only create some for the later car, but also, of course, I need to now include the plastic fasteners holes, keyholes as well. However, if one is rallying and you've got some tatty cards but a good vinyl, then this and self-tapping screws does an excellent job and is surprisingly easy and very rewarding. So let's see how to do this for a rally car. At this stage, I reckon the two tools are some form of fairly nice pry tool. This is Snap-on's trim clip remover, and possibly a pair of pliers. The first task is to pry the metal bar off of the hardboard. Now this is secured by these square holes. These square holes started off as flat metal, then a diagonal cross was cut into it, and the 4 triangles thereby produced are pressed into the hardboard. Well, we can't do anything with that, so we're going to pry those off and then grind them back so that the tangs no longer exist. So your first task is simply to pry the metal away from the hardboard. Now, as it happens, this lot has already come off. That's come off here. This one is still intact. So I get underneath it. There we go, and pry it off. And these two as well. There. There we go. So now the metal is sort of free of the door card, which leaves us with about 100 or so staples that secure the edge of the vinyl to the card. And this is simply a case of going at it nice and steadily. So I'll set off and then I'll show it in fast motion. So we slide underneath there, try not to damage the vinyl, and then pick out the staple. Slide underneath, pick out. Okay, I'll now switch to very fast mode. Okay, let's try and remove the vinyl now. On the first one I tried, this actually worked out very easy indeed. It just sort of peeled away with very little hardboard sticking to the vinyl. This, I think, is going to be in better condition, so just see how much of the sponge backing comes off with it. Okay, so I'm going to, rather than pulling at a point here, I'm going to use the palm of my hand to try and spread and not stretch the vinyl. but that is it. There we go. So out comes our old card. And this is the same as on my first, on the other door that I tried earlier today. You get a certain amount of hardboard, particularly at the bottom, that stays glued. Now, I tried using a lot of, on the assumption this is some sort of PVA type adhesive, which I think is probably wrong. It's probably an impact adhesive. I tried soaking this in water and it really made no difference at all. So grab, if it'll come off easily like that with your fingernails, then do so, but otherwise I think just don't worry about it too much. You'll see the end product in half an hour, and it really isn't that, well, I don't think it's noticeable at all actually. So that's anything else that wants to come off easily. There, that bit wants to come off. And a surprising amount of the sponge stays intact, which kind of surprised me. No, I'm going to leave that. So next, my task is to remove the tangs here off the back of the metal, and I'm going to use my grinder for that. Okay, here we go. One at a time. How many have we got to do? We've got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. 9 of them to go. So there we are. There's the triangular tangs that we've got to remove. And try not to breathe in the fumes here, because galvanized metal has quite a savoury smell to it, but by George, it gives you a headache if you breathe it in. Okay, and just give it a good shake out to make sure none of those tangs are lurking underneath there, that lip. That's good. And there we have vinyl ready for the new card. And just offer it up to see what you're aiming for. There, like so. That's lovely. Look at that. That's good. And now we use impact adhesive on both surfaces. Just give a light brush to get any loose debris off the card. It is the rough side of the card to which the vinyl goes to, and the smooth side is what you're going to see when you finish product. Read the instructions on the side of your impact adhesive tin. Ours says 15 to 20 centimeters, which is about that distance there for me. So let's go. And I wouldn't go too close to the edges, partly because you'll tend to get cobwebs hanging off it, which are a pain indeed, and partly because you want the ability, particularly at the top here, to just adjust as you go in. So don't go too heavy on the top edge. Yep, that's good. And now my assistant and I will do this. Okay. So if you hold, one edge like that. Now I'm not going too close to here because I want to be able to adjust as I go in here. And I'm only going to do one layer on here. Again, all I want is a sort of gentle tack. I don't really want it firmly glued. Take that cobweb off and back onto the bench. Okay, this is a two-man job. Emma, you get the center of this, don't you? Lift the center, it's bowing. That's it. And in we go, just getting those vinyl corners over. There it goes, right. And then just kind of butting up to this formed section here, and if we look, I think that needs to go after a bit. We've got, oh no, look at that. Okay. I think that's probably it. Yep, that's it. Let's go for that. Oh, no, it's just moved. Damn, off. There, so that's good. And what about that one? Let's push that in. Yeah, I think that is much better. There we go. And then immediately just fetch out the edge of the vinyl so it has no desire to stick to itself. There we go. Good, look at that. This is our favoured tool, the Bosch staple gun, cordless rechargeable, and it is these, I think. It's the 4mm staples that we're actually using, which are kind of works nicely with the hardboard. And as you go round, vaguely stapling where it used to be stapled, I would suggest, is you just want to tug a bit to give yourself a bit of tension on the vinyl so it doesn't look sloppy from the front. And use the surface of the hardboard to give yourself a level surface, then the quality of the stapling is that much better. However, this one here, you can't. You have to come in from the outside, like so. But that's really only the top two. And the same on this side. After that, you can go at it using the hardboard to position yourself. There we go. And we'll go into QuickTime mode now. Now when you go around the corners, obviously there's going to be excess material, so just make sure you've gathered in just in the same way as Volvo did when they made this. When you're loading up your staple gun, kind of always think of Dirty Harry. Can't think why, but there you go. Actually, the film was Magnum Force, wasn't it? Not Dirty Harry was the sequel. There we go. Ah, look at that. You can see the difference already, that there's none of this bulging, particularly at the bottom. So that's going to look so much smarter in the car. Yeah, that's good. And what I'll do now is I'm just going to go over it with a vinyl cleaner before it goes in. And because it's a rally car, I'm not going to use those lovely plastic lugs to clip it in place, but I shall be using cup washers and self-tappers, about 7 of them to secure it. So there we go, we have the wee number 7 screws and 4mm cup washers to make it look smart, like so. And that's what I'll be using. However, I shall definitely spend a happy, that's going to take me probably 6 hours, trying to map these keyholes onto my card. That then means that these will directly replace the original door card. Then it just leaves me to modify it for the later type door handle and to create a 144 card out of the 142, which should be very trivial actually. That's not difficult in CAD. So there we go. So I'll clean it up and then I'll see you over at the door as we offer it up. Let's offer up the door card and see how it looks. Over the door locking there, and then of course over this tab here. There it is, it's gone into the hole. That's straight through, that's nice. Then this one I've already marked. There, right, and put the furniture back on. Now, because we've got a roll cage here, when the window is up, I want this easily accessible by the navigator for when they come into controls. So I'm going to have it at this angle. Ordinarily though, I would always place it like so, pointing aft, when it's fully wound up. And the way these horseshoe clips work, it's a very lovely system. You pop it on like so. You check that we still have some sound, which we do. Okay, just a little bit of grease to help it on its way. There we go. Oh no, I didn't. I did. Look at that. What have I done? Then lay the Bakelite over like so, and the metal cup like that. There we go. And that, yep, that snapped on. There we go. Good. Finally, the early type armrest. So wind this knurly bit fully out like that, so it's hard up against the plastic. It then goes through both bits of metal and then slides back. Allowing you to get the screw in there. Like so. And then you just nip that up by screwing it that way. There we go. That's it. There we go. Nice new door card. Everything looking really nice and flat again now, rather than all that wobbly look that it had earlier. So I now need to work on getting those keyholes for all the plastic original lugs. Once I've done that, I'll then be able to look at creating the late type armrest holes and for the 144, and we're done then. We can supply new door cards, new door card hardboards for your existing vinyl. Well, I really like that. Yep, I'm pleased. Thank you.